Welcome to my new lecture. In this lecture, we are going to talk about Ampere's law. Ampere's law is basically derived from Biot-Savart's law that we discussed in our previous video. Let's see how it relates with the Gauss's law for electrostatics and how it can be applied to find the magnetic field due to different current distributions. We know that the Gauss's law, we find the field dE and then integrate it to find the electric field due to any charge distribution. However, when there is a symmetry like circular symmetry, spherical symmetry or cylindrical symmetry, in case of electric charges at rest, we apply Gauss's law of the form E dot dA over the closed integral is equal to Q enclosed over epsilon naught. This is our Gauss's law. Now, running on the similar steps, we can find the magnetic field due to any charge distribution by using the Biot-Savart's law, which I discussed in the previous lecture. You have to write down the dB. Just discussing the Biot-Savart's law, dB is equal to mu naught over 4 pi I ds sine theta over r square. This is Biot-Savart's law. Once you know this dB and you integrate it over the whole surface, then you can find the magnetic field due to this surface. The Ampere's law is given in the form closed integral B dot ds is equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. This is my Ampere's law. Now this closed integral is along a surface which is known as Amperian loop, right? You have to apply this Ampere's law upon a loop. Ampere's law is applied on an Amperian loop. To apply this Ampere's law, let us consider a situation in which some of the currents are into the plane of paper and some of the currents are out of the plane of paper. Here I have taken three currents, I1, I2 and I3. I1 is out of the plane of paper represented by this dot, and the I2 and I3 currents are out of the plane of paper represented by the cross symbol. Now I would take an arbitrary Amperian loop in the counter clockwise direction. Now I have to ascertain my ds and b. Let's say the ds, that is a small length, is directed along this direction. This is my direction of ds, and I do not know the direction of magnetic field, and at this point of time I take the magnetic field in an arbitrary direction to be like this, and such that it makes an angle theta with ds. Now when I have taken this, now I would use the definition of Ampere's law, and then we'll know which component of magnetic field to be taken in this dot product between B and ds. Now if I take the left hand side of this Ampere's law, that is closed integral B dot ds, this should be equals to closed integral B ds cos theta, or more formally I can write it down as closed integral B cos theta times ds. Now this expression tells me that this B cos theta I have to take. B cos theta, as we know that there would be two components of B. One would be perpendicular component, that would be B sin theta, and one would be B cos theta. So B cos theta would be the component of the magnetic field B along this ds. So we have to take, in case of Ampere's law, the component of magnetic field which is along the B. Now I can write down my Ampere's law to be of the form B cos theta ds is equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. Now we have come to know that we have to take the direction of magnetic field which is tangent to ds. This simplifies our Ampere's law and how we can use this Ampere's law to calculate the magnetic field due to different currents. Now how to use the Ampere's law? You have to curl the fingers of your right hand in the direction of Amperian loop, and when the current is in parallel with your outstretched thumb, then you have to take this current to be positive, and when the current is anti-parallel to your outstretched thumb, the current would be taken as negative. Just take the example of that we consider right now. I have this Ampere loop in counterclockwise direction, and I1 is out of the plane paper, so it would be parallel. It would be taken as positive, and I2 is into the plane of parallel, which is anti-parallel to this, so it would be taken as negative. Now when I find the current enclosed for this Amperian loop, this I enclosed comes out to be this I1 is since parallel to my outstretched thumb, therefore it would be taken as positive, and the I2 is anti-parallel to this outstretched thumb, this would be taken as negative. So my result would be as per Ampere's law would be, in this case, B cos theta is equals to mu naught times I1 minus I2. One might wonder that why this I3 is not taken into the consideration while applying the Ampere loop. One of the reason is that you have to take those currents only which come inside the Ampere loop, and any current that is outside this Amperian loop is cancelled out by this integration. So you do not need to worry about the currents which are outside the Amperian loop. You just have to consider those currents which are inside the Amperian loop. I can summarize this Ampere's law and application of this Ampere's law in the form that curl your right hand around the Amperian loop with the fingers pointing in the direction of integration. A current through the loop in the general direction of your outstretched thumb is assigned a plus sign, and current generally in the opposite direction is assigned a minus sign, just as I elaborated it in an example. You just have to take those currents which are inside the Amperian loop. Now I would use these results to find the magnetic field outside a long straight wire with current. I would apply the Ampere's law to find out the magnetic field outside a long straight wire that contains a current. Let's say this is my wire in which the current is out of the plane of paper. Consider the wire to be like this one. This is my wire. Now I cannot draw a three-dimensional figure into a two-dimensional page. Therefore I have just taken the direction of this current to be outside of the plane of paper. Now to calculate the magnetic field, I would take an Amperian loop, and there is a sort of cylindrical symmetry that exists in this figure. Now I am taking an Amperian loop like this, right? And it is a circle of radius r due to there would be no direction of r. This is my r, and I am taking the Amperian loop to be in clockwise direction. This is my Amperian loop. Now I would take a small length ds to be like this, and my b would be along this as well, so the theta would be 0 in this case, as I told you that b is taken tangent to ds. Therefore theta would be 0 in this case, and suppose that the current I is flowing through this wire or through this long straight wire. Now when I make use of the Ampere's law, that is the closed integral b dot ds is equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. Now since the angle is theta is 0, so b ds cos theta would be mu naught times, since the current enclosed is I can write it down as I. Now this theta is 0, cos 0 would be 1, and this b is uniform, so it can be taken out of the integral. This would be ds mu naught times I. Now this ds is length of this Amperian loop, and we know that the length of circumference of a circle or this loop would be 2 pi r. Now I can use b, this integral would be 2 pi r into mu naught I, and b comes out to be mu naught I over 2 pi r. If you carefully look at this relationship, you will see that this is the same relationship that we find out using the Biot-Savart law for a long straight wire. So these are the calculation how you can make use of Ampere's law to find the magnetic field due to a long straight wire and outside of it. Now as a second case, I would want to find out the magnetic field inside a long straight wire with current. Let's consider a wire in which the current is out of the plane of paper. You can take it as into the plane of paper as well, and the current is distributed uniformly throughout its cross section or on its surface of radius r. And I am interested in finding out the magnetic field inside of this wire, right? This is cross section of the wire where current is uniformly distributed. Now I would take an Amperian loop due to circular symmetry. I am taking this Amperian loop and such that this is my Amperian loop and R is, sorry, it's not a vector quantity, R is inside this wire. Now if I take a small element like this ds and B would be directed along this direction. So using the Ampere's law, I can write down as B dot ds equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. Now when I take the Ampere's loop, the current is parallel, so and if I take this current to be I, then this B ds cos theta becomes equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. And the left hand side, as we already know, becomes, due to this Amperian loop, as B theta is 0, ds is 2 pi r. You have to take the radius of this Amperian loop, not of that whole wire, is equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. Now I have to find out this enclosed current, and the enclosed current is proportional to area. So the enclosed current of this Amperian loop would be equals to pi small r square, because the radius of this Amperian loop is small r, and the current enclosed I is equals to pi r square. Now I have to take the this area of cross section, and I can say that I enclosed over I would be equals to pi r square over capital R square times pi, and my current enclosed comes out to be pi r square over pi r square times I. Now when I substitute this value, I can find this B to be equals to, if I substitute this value over here, B times 2 pi r comes equals to mu naught times, this pi would get cancelled out, r square over capital R square times I, and I can write the magnetic field to be mu naught over this R would be cancelled over mu naught R over 2 pi R square times I. This would be my magnetic field inside a long straight wire carrying current I. Now moving onward with our discussion of Ampere's law, we can use the Ampere's law to find out the magnetic field due to solenoids and toroids. This is section 29.5 of the book Fundamentals of Physics by Halliday, Resnick and Walker. First I would consider a solenoid and use Ampere's law to find the magnetic field due to it. Solenoid is a helically wound wire of this form, in which we consider the diameter, the length of the wire to be greater than the diameter. And practically when I would make a solenoid, these points would be the magnetic field would be as we know that the magnetic field is circular, so these points would represent a magnetic field as out of the plane of paper, and these points would have a magnetic field like this one into the plane of paper. So the direction of circular would be, if this is directed along anti-clockwise, this would be my direction along clockwise direction, right? And this would be anti-clockwise. So when I would make the field due to this hole, it would be like this one, right? This is the magnetic field due to this portion, which is like this one in clockwise direction. And when I make the magnetic field due to this portion, it would be like an anti-clockwise direction, like this one, right? So you can see that the fields inside this solenoid are having the same direction, and at the center of this solenoid you see that the magnetic field is long, straight and uniform, while you see that the field outside of this, let's say this, call these points as point P, outside this solenoid tend to cancel each other, because this is in anti-clockwise direction and this is in clockwise direction. So the magnetic fields outside of the solenoid get cancelled, and magnetic fields inside the this solenoid remain. I can show the same phenomena in another way. This is upper portion, right, and this is the lower portion. The field lines would be like this one, inside the solenoid, and field would be like this one outside the solenoid. So they tend to cancel each other's effect outside this line, right, and the field remains inside the solenoid. Now in the next step I am interested in finding the magnetic field due to a solenoid. So let me take a solenoid of the form, let's say this is my solenoid, in which the magnetic field lines are like this one. To make a more clear picture, I have taken this, and magnetic field inside I have taken, and I would take a rectangular loop A, B, C and D. Now I would apply the Ampere's law to find out the magnetic field due to this solenoid, and I know that the Ampere's law is given as closed integral B dot ds is equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. For the time being, I am taking just the left side of this Ampere's law, and I will later come to this right side, and I can write this B dot ds for this loop to be B dot ds from A to B, right, plus B dot ds from B to C and B dot ds from C to D and B dot ds from D to A. Now if I look into my this rectangular box, I can see that in case of this B to C and D to A, means integral second and fourth integral would be 0, as the B is perpendicular to ds. This is ds and B is perpendicular to this one. So both of these terms would be come as 0. And this C to D B dot ds would also be 0, because I have already detailed that the magnetic field outside the solenoid is 0. So this term would also be 0. Now the only term that remains is B dot ds A to B, and let me take this as this C to D as H. Since A to B and C to D are same, therefore I can take ds to be equals to H. So this remains as my left hand side of this Ampere's loop. Now the right hand side, there is this rectangular box, and let's say if there are n turns of this solenoid, then I can say that there would be n h turns, and the current enclosed would be now becomes INH. Now using again this Ampere's law, that is B dot ds from A to B is equals to mu naught times I enclosed, and I know that this B is my magnetic field, and ds from A to B comes equals to H, and this mu naught times I enclosed, I can substitute this value I n H, and this would be cancelled, and B would be mu naught times I n, where n is number of turns per unit length. So this is my magnetic field due to a solenoid. Now we would focus our attention towards another particular structure that is known as a toroid. Toroid can be considered as a hollow solenoid and it could be given like this one. Let's say I can make a toroid like this one. I do apologize for my figures, as I am not that good in making figures, so kindly consider this as a circular wounded toroid. And this is my toroid, and this is its center. Now the magnetic field lines inside this toroid would be circular like this one, right? I am not making different other circular lines. Let's say this is my Amperian loop, which is of radius r, and the magnetic fields lines inside would be like this, and similarly the magnetic field outside of the toroid would be 0. Now if I use the Ampere's law, that is given in the form closed integral B dot ds to be equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. I have taken this Ampere loop of radius r, so my left hand side in this case would be b into 2 pi r times the mu naught times the current enclosed. Now if there are n turns of this toroid, then the current enclosed due to this toroid would be I n, and I can substitute these values to be b times 2 pi r is equals to mu naught times I n, where n is the number of turns of the toroid. Now to find out magnetic field, this would be mu naught I n over 2 pi r. This is my magnetic field due to a toroid. Now let's do a numerical related with our today's topic. A solenoid 1.3 meter long and 2.6 centimeter in diameter carries a current of 18 ampere. Magnetic field inside the solenoid is 23 millitesla. Find the length of the wire forming the solenoid. First, the length is given as 1.3 meter. The diameter is 2.6 centimeter, or you can say as 0.26 meter. Current I is given to be 18 ampere and magnetic field is 23 millitesla, which you can say 23 into 10 raised to power minus 3 Tesla. Now using the formula B is equals to mu naught In. Here I do not know the number of turns per unit length. I would get N from this equation. N would be mu naught I over B. Once you know the N, you can say that you can calculate the N using these values, and this N is number of turns per unit length. So you can calculate this capital N to be this small n times the length which is already given. Now this capital N could be used to is equals to n times this h, and by substituting this capital N and small n you can find I think this number of turns is fine, but this looks a bit absurd. Although number of turns was not given to find out, simply you can find this to be in terms of BH should be equals to mu naught times current enclosed. So this current enclosed is already given. I can find this H to be equals to mu naught I enclosed over B. Now all the quantities you know the value of mu naught, you know this current enclosed, you know this B. You can easily find the length of the wire forming this solenoid. I do apologize for this calculation. There was a confusion regarding it, so this would be clarified. I want to find out the length that is forming the solenoid, which can be found by using this formula. You just have to put the values and get the results. So this sums up our today's discussion, which was related to Ampere's law and the magnetic field inside and outside a long straight wire, and then we move towards finding out the magnetic field due to two important structures, solenoids and toroids. Now I would be back soon with a new lecture. Thank you. See you again.